Hey everyone, this is BRAINWAVEZ, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create a reverb throw rack inside Ableton. If you've seen my videos before, you know that I always use this technique, and if you're not very familiar, basically a reverb throw, what I mean is applying reverb on one sound but automating it in a way that it just appears on a certain section or in certain parts of the track. Is just a way to create cool and like spacious effects. So I'm just gonna show you a little bit of the way that I use it. I have this little drop idea in here, and I have my reverb throw rack in the synths group, and it's gonna be affecting this sound. If I muted the sound by itself, sounds like this. Now if I put my reverb throw and notice that I already have an automation created for it, it sounds like this. So you can see how it helps creating that spacious effect. At the end of the video I'm going to show you other examples, but let's just get into how to create the rack itself. I'm just gonna use another channel to create the rack from scratch. So what you will need is, first of all, reverb, obviously. So I'm just gonna use the default reverb from Ableton. I'm gonna low cut it, and I'm gonna put this at 500 and this at around 2. Then the decay, I'm gonna put it at 6 seconds, and this can vary, but I feel like 6 seconds sounds really good. And I'm gonna put the drive all the way up. So right now, if I play it, it's obviously gonna be like a lot of reverb. That's obviously not what we want. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a group. So Ctrl G, and we're gonna go to this last button to create a new chain, and we're gonna name this wet and this one dry. So now we have 2 signals. If I mute the wet signal, we have dry signal only, and if I put the wet signal, we're gonna have both the signal with reverb and the dry one. So obviously we don't want that, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put an utility in here, and also we're gonna put an EQ8, and we're gonna cut the low end. So in this way we make sure that the reverb is not gonna be affecting the low end. Now the magic happens when we start playing with the macros. I'm just gonna use 2 macros in here, and I'm gonna map the decay. This is gonna help me customize my reverb throw if I want like a longer tail or a shorter tail. And then I'm gonna map my gain knob to the second macro. And this is very important. We're gonna go to the macro mappings in here, and we're gonna put that the max value that you can get out of the utility is gonna be 8 dBs. So what that means is that if I put this all the way up, it's just gonna be up to 8 dBs, not like plus 35, which is the default. Now with this macro in here, we can start making our automations and get the desired effect, because when the gain knob is all the way down, we're still getting the dry signal but not the wet signal, because we have it essentially muted with the gain. But when we start raising the volume of this one, then we can start like mixing the dry and the wet signal. And then we can create the automations that I was making in the original version of this. Obviously that's a little bit intense. I'm just gonna make it a little bit more subtle. And something that I like to do is right clicking here and show generic value. We can also name this. So we're gonna just put decay and we're gonna put wet. You can also put emojis if you want. If you're on Windows, you press Ctrl and the dot key. I'm gonna color it as well, just because. And now we can just hide all of this, and now we have our reverb throw rack ready to go. As I mentioned, there is different ways to use this. For example, I used it in here to create like a little bit of a reverb throw going out of the drop, so in the snares. So for example, that's the dry snares, but then I created that little effect in there so that it kind of rings out of the drop. And you can also use this, for example, in build-ups. So I just drag and drop a build-up looping here, and I'm just gonna show you how it sounds with the reverb automation. So without it sounds like this, and with it sounds like this. So you can see how this creates a lot of tension and just like a cool atmosphere. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna leave a link for you to get the rack for free. That's gonna be in the description below. So thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I hope I see you around.